right, so for our sports interview, we're looking at gymnastics as not only a career option, but also how young people are getting more interested in this particular sporting code. We have Tatiana, she is the head of the gymnastics school in Klerksdorp. And to my right, we have Gugu and Grace, who's you're actually the champion of the gymnastics in South Africa. Congratulations to you. Your birthday, 21st, is coming up on the 2nd of May. Are you planning a big bash?
No, I'm not planning anything yet.
Yeah. But Tatiana, we were just saying in terms of the career choices that young people can make. It is a complex sport, as you were saying. What is required to get into it? And I'm sure it's preferably as young as possible.
Yeah, for gymnastics, you must start in the best age, it's a 6 or 7. But like, for example, Grace maybe can be exceptional, but she have the lots of potential from the young age, and she start late, but she still achieve the good results.
How do you find yourself in Klerksdorp or as a Russian?
Oh, it's a long story, but that was the lady who invited us to help her to pick up the club from the low level to high level, and we went to that.
Okay, and a quick motivation to young people that want to get into gymnastics. What would you say, Coco?
I'd say that if you want to do gymnastics, you should make sure that you try to work hard and be able to compete and enjoy yourself as you compete.
You have to be agile and flexible. It's something not to be tested at home. But off you go, ladies, into the studio. We'll be fielding your calls as well. The comments on social media will also be looked at.
Now, tucked away in the northwest town of Klerksdorp is an unlikely partnership. A couple from the town has taken 2 promising gymnasts under their wing, providing them with anything from shelter to training and education. All of this from their own pocket. Let's take a look.
Tatiana Lavrentchouk-Vizer. She's originally from Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. And this is Gugu Nkambule and Grace Legote. Theirs has been a life full of obstacles. But then Tatiana and her husband came into their lives.
We don't have a sponsorship. We have little bit support from the government who support few PDI kids like a Grace, Palesa and Gugu and a few boys on the other side. But our project every year getting smaller and smaller because the budget is very tough.
Tatiana runs this gym in Klerksdorp where the girls train every day. For Gugu and Grace, there's not much else to do except for school and training.
The only thing that I can say, I survive because there's people who inspire me, who keeps on motivating me that you shouldn't give up. Even though it's becoming difficult for you, you go to school, come back, study. It's just, like I said, it helps me to balance my life, and it's training me for future.
What it takes to be a world-class gymnast is hardworking and determination. You need to have the heart for it. You need to be willing to do gymnastics and do it correctly.
Gugu and Grace are amongst thousands of other athletes in South Africa from the so-called Cinderella sports. They battle to get recognition for their chosen sports that have to compete with football, rugby and cricket, a well-known problem in South African sport. But these gymnasts have been all over the world and taken part in world championships.
What an inspiring story. And now to talk more about this, we're joined by the 2 athletes and their coach, Tatiana Lavrentchouk-Vizer. You at home can be part of the discussion as well. Give us a call, 011-537-9337 or 011-537-9338. Ask your questions about gymnastics. I know I've got a few and I'd love to hear from you as well. And I'm sure these lovely ladies would do as well. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Welcome to the show. Let's start with you, Tatiana. You were speaking about the fact that you came to South Africa 20 years ago and you started with the club 17 years ago.
Yes.
What improvements or developments have you seen over those years?
The first, we have the PDI program, which we ran already more than 10 years. Before, that wasn't that program in that club, but the owner of that club, when we came, decide to do that because it was the good opportunity for the girls like Grace and Gugu to start that beautiful sport. And from that point, we ran that program. We involved the other children. It still have difficulties for support, but that sport very beautiful, and we try hard to
All right,
keep
Gugu
going.
and Grace, I know you're very nervous right now being on live TV, but I just wanted to ask you guys, let's start with you, Grace. How did you get into gymnastics? It seems like an unlikely sport in Klerksdorp.
I got into gymnastics while I went there to watch it, and I've been noticed by Tatiana, my coach, and Tani Susie, and they just tested me to actually stretch, and then they saw the ability, and then they told me to actually join the following day.
And Grace, what about you?
I was in Legote Primary School, and then Snejana was coaching the whole school on Thursdays, and then she chose children that can start gymnastics, and I was one of them. So after that, when I was 13, and then Tatiana took me over to Klerksdorp.
Okay, because I went to Klerksdorp last year, and it looks like an unlikely place to have a gymnastics club and to have 180 gymnasts in the club. Tell us, how much interest is there in gymnastics in Klerksdorp?
The interest there is when you actually get there and have the energy to actually practice and to think that you're gonna join your gym mates there. That's the nice part about it.
Okay. Tatiana, we saw in another sport, tennis, that the Soweto Open was cancelled just yesterday. How hard is it to get funding for a sport like gymnastics?
Almost impossible. We don't have the funding too much, except we have the funding, and thank you for that, from Northwest Sport Academy. They support girls how they can. But that's not enough for the traveling, to compete internationally, to have the big experience, to achieve the higher position and be recognized internationally.
How many big competitions are there in South Africa in gymnastics?
One.
Just one?
Just one, yeah, championships of South Africa.
Okay, so, I mean, what does it take? You know, you've got big federations like the Russian Federation who churn out millions of athletes and gymnasts specifically. What does it take to compete with a country like Russia or China in gymnastics?
It's very difficult because in that country, gymnastics, it's like the government sport. It's a very, very popular. The support very big. For our girls, it's very difficult because they even call us sometimes aliens because we appear once in a year.
And then disappear.
And then disappear.
All right, guys, I'm going to ask you a little bit about what it takes to be a gymnast, because you are at the top of your games right now, which is fantastic. But let's get a few comments from our Facebook viewers. And Ayanda is standing by with some of those comments. Ayanda, take us through some of them.
Yeah, thanks for that. Looking at our Facebook page, we asked our viewers at home what they thought could be done to make the sport of gymnastics more popular. And here, Lovable Steven says, make the sport more accessible to all. The events and galas are in places most can't attend. And here, Noel Ndlovu says, introduce it to schools and form clubs around disadvantaged areas as well. Maestro Logic says, by introducing the sport to black schools. Sanele Zulu Boy saying that we should teach children and anyone important in the township. Zaid says get more qualified gymnastic instructors to go to disadvantaged schools and develop more instructors. And secondly, for government to pay new instructors so that students don't have to pay for their instructors to survive. I am Real Sam says, I live in the hood and we used to do gymnastics in school around 1999 and 2000. The sport in general has declined, especially in the hood. Simon says broadcast it often on our channels. Kabelo says definitely our Department of Sports should increase its budget so that they can make this sport as part of a culture. And lastly, Mulefi Clement says, I'd love to see such things here in Mzansi, and not only in CBD but even in our township. Another reason, that's just basically the comment that Mulefi leaves us there, and that's basically some of our comments coming through. It's back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Ayanda. Grace, I want to talk to you. You've been overseas. What's it been like to compete overseas in gymnastics?
It was actually a big experience. You get like more crowded people there. It's bigger than the local competitions. and you get there to compete and impress the audience.
And have you got local recognition? Do people recognize you for your amazing acts of going overseas and competing?
Yeah, they recognize. Yes, they.
Now, Gugu, you've obviously been in the sport for a little while now. How long are you training every single day?
I train 3 to 4 hours a day. Yes.
3 to 4 hours every single day?
Yes.
7 days a week?
Yes. No, 6, sorry.
6, so okay, you get 1 day off, that's great. But how did you guys choose rhythmic dancing? We're seeing some of the visuals on our screen at the moment. How did you choose rhythmic gymnastics compared to other gymnastics like floor or potentially, I know, pommel horse and the rings and so on? How did you choose rhythmic?
I didn't actually get to choose it myself. Yeah, but I think it goes according to your structure, your body structure, how you build. I mean, like you can't do artistic gymnastics when you're skinny and tall. It's just, it doesn't look right.
So I wouldn't be someone for rhythmic, I see, hey?
No,
No, I get that. No, guys, thanks. No, you bring me down. Just very quickly, we've got lots of things going on this year. It's a jam-packed year in terms of gymnastics. We've got the African Championships and, of course, Commonwealth Games. What are some of your dreams for gymnastics?
Dreams for gymnastics is to actually continue and to get the ability to knowledge other children to join gymnastics and coach maybe in the next future.
Now, Gugu, a lot of people are looking at you on the screens at the moment and going, wow, this is fantastic. So you guys are inspiring to all of us. What kind of information or what would you say to young people watching out on ETV at the moment about who want to join gymnastics?
I'd say to motivate people, youngsters to do gymnastics, as you must be able to work hard, even though you can't, like everyone, when it comes to hard working, it's kind of difficult. But you must know how to pull yourself and push yourself to do something and learn more things.
Well, guys, you're an absolute inspiration. Tatiana, thank you so much for all your hard work in Klerksdorp. I know the community there is absolutely grateful. And guys, congratulations. Make us proud in the African Championships and then in the Commonwealth Games. We want to see golds around your neck. Thank you so much. We've been speaking to Grace and Gugu. They are part of the Klerksdorp gymnastics team and they'll be competing in the African Championships. And that's happening in March in Tshwane. So good luck to them. We'll be back right after this.